Guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Peace, and on this channel we talk about everything product marketing. So today we're going to talk about what to do in your first 90 days as a product marketer. So this would be in three stages: your first 30 days, then the next 30 days, which make the 60th day, and then the next 30th day to make the 90th day. So we're going to break down like the things that you can do in each one of these 30 days to succeed in your role and grow. Let's get started. For your first 30 days, at this point, you just got the job, and the first thing that you have to do is to learn about the role. So, you want to understand why they hired you for this role. Ideally, you already have that information from your interview, but you want to talk to like the teams to understand the thing they expect from you. Like, you want to know what the expectations are for your role. Are they expecting you to help them launch a product? Are they expecting you to help bring clarity? Are they expecting you to help them engage their customers? What exactly is the expectation for your role and of you? This will just help you understand what to focus on in your next like couple of months, because if you're not working in alignment with with the expectations, you could be doing something and people are like, I mean, it's not terrible, but that's not what they expected you to be doing. So you want to be sure that you understand the expectations. You also want to meet with potential stakeholders, especially because a product marketing role is a very collaborative role. You're going to be collaborating with a lot of teams. So you want to meet with all of these teams you'll be collaborating with and begin to build rapport. Let them know who you are, what you do, how you can support them. If they don't understand the role of product marketing, you also want to help them understand it. Personally, I did like an entire deck in my time, got everybody together and just like made it lighthearted, fun and stuff. You don't have to do it, depends on your personality, but you want to be sure that they know when to come to you, that they know what to loop you into, because when you first get the job, people don't know how you can fit into the team. Your product teams might not even loop you into calls. They would like silo you out and do things their way, the same way the sales team will silo you out and do things their way. So you want to make them like you and include you in things that you're supposed to be included in. And yeah, meeting them, talking to them, explaining your role, explaining how you can help them is a great way to start. This way, if they are working on something that you've already said this is where you can help them make it better, then they will think, okay, let's invite you and see what your take would be like on it. Then the next thing is to learn more about the product, learn more about the company. Just focus on your research in the first 30 days, because this would help you, do better in the rest of the days. So learn about the company, do your research about the values, the product, what it does, why they're doing it, what's the company culture like, how can you fit in, who are the people to go to, who are the people with influence with the product, who are the people with influence in the business, who are like, you want to know as much as about the company as you can, because of course, like I've mentioned, product marketing is collaborative, so you want to be able to collaborate successfully, which is why it's good to research and understand the people you're working with. At this point, you can start working out your own objectives and your own goals for the next 90 days. So this is what you can do in your 30 days. The first 30 days is your research phase, your getting to know people phase, and your planning phase, where you get to plan out what you're going to work on the next 60 days and the next 90 days. So that is generally what it is. Do not rush this process, because sometimes it's easy to just say, oh, I want to get the ground running and start doing stuff, but don't rush this process. For me, when I feel overwhelmed and I feel like I want to get the ground running, especially for startups, if you're working in a startup, a good thing to do is to just create like quick wins. So if you create quick wins, these are things that it's easy to implement. You've looked at it with a product marketing eye. Product marketing eye is bad, but maybe you've gone over the product, you've reviewed the product, you've tried the product out, you've reviewed the customer feedback if they have those, and so you put together a list of quick things that can be implemented to just improve the product quality, improve the customer engagement quality. You can just have like a list of quick wins that can be implemented on immediately. Not anything major, just a bunch of quick wins, if that's like something you want to do. But generally, do not rush your first 30 days. Take your time to learn, take your time to research, take your time to just get onboarded very well and get to be a part of the team, because it's going to help you in the next phase. From day 31 to day 60, what you can be doing during this time is, number one, you want to now start implementing some of your quick wins. So those quick wins that you've already highlighted in your first month, you want to start executing on them. This is also the first time you get to work with your teammates. So you want to make the most of it. You want to be sure that you want to make sure that you've done your research properly here and you know how everybody likes to work so that you're able to work seamlessly with each one of them. At this stage, you also want to start doing external research. So you want to say, okay, if there's no customer research, if there's no extensive customer research done, even if there is, you want to do yours. You want to be able to carry out research. So you create a research plan and start talking to customers, because if you've already done your research on the product, the next big thing is to talk to customers. You do not want to start doing anything, making any major change without getting feedback from your customers. So just talk to customers, set up calls, set up interviews. You don't need to do this alone. You can reach out to sales and say, I want to really understand where our customers' head is at. Have you done any kind of research like this before? I want to see what the data looks like. So talk to your customers, talk to them and hear from them about your products, hear what they like, what they don't like, understand what improvements can be made, understand the way that they prefer to be communicated with, and just try to learn about your customers as much as you can, especially with regards to what about your products they love, what about your products you could improve on. Then the next thing to do is to review all of your channels and your data. So what are the channels that are used for marketing, channels that are used for sales? What are the channels you use to collect data? So at this point, you want to start setting up, for example, your MailChimp if you don't have one set up, or you just want to, start doing things in there. You want to be able to set up your data channels or review the already set up data channels just so that you're sure that you're tracking everything that needs to be tracked. So you want to use this month to just set yourself up for success. Because if you don't understand your channels well, if you don't know what your customers are looking for, there's just nothing you can really do. So you want to be sure that based on feedback from customers, the channels that you guys are using, like the products the company is using, is well utilized. If they're not using the right channels, what are the other channels that you could explore? What are the things that you could set up? Do you have like an email sequence set up for engaging users? Maybe it's time to create a plan to do that. At this stage, you can also start creating you can now start reviewing what the goals are for you to work with. So generally, you would have a boss, someone that you report to. So that person that you report to will tell you that, okay, these are the things you're going to be doing. You're going to create a new campaign to promote this new feature that we're about to launch. You're going to do X thing, you're going to do Y thing, you're going to do Z thing. So this is where you begin to work with your manager to lay out the plan for those things that you are going to be executing on. So just to rephrase, or just to do like a recap, on your second month, you're going to focus on executing your quick wins. You're also going to focus on getting your channels in order, talking to your customers, getting your data points in order. And then the last thing that you want to do is to work with your manager to start laying out the plans for your role, like the things you're supposed to execute on. Because at this point, you've done all of the groundwork and it's time to get in there and do the work. From day 61 to day 90, this is where the magic's supposed to happen. So at this point, you've already talked to your manager. You know what you're supposed to be working on in this next 30 days. So you start to execute on those things. So at the end of the 90th day, you want to have something, a report on what customers want, a report on some of the changes that you're going to be making based on feedback from customers, the review of the product yourself. You want to have suggestions for the product team. You want to have something of substance to share with the team so that they can begin to feel your impact. It's at this point that you want to make sure that people really feel you in the organization. So all of that work that you've been doing, all of that research, it's time to bring it all together and create like a single source of truth that says, okay, based on my assessment of the product versus what customer feedback is, these are some changes I am recommending to the product. And then you list out all of the changes that you're recommending to the product just because you have the data to back it up. In the same way, you can say, okay, based on customers' journey and the data that I have reviewed, these are some of the places where we need to step up our game to get customers to engage better with our product. So you're going to be working with sales to create new sequences, create automations that can send out messages to customer when they do XYZ thing. And then if they do this other thing, they trigger this other type of message. You get my point? So this is where you start showing your impact, and then you start trying to measure it. So if you are going to change something in the product, because based on the feedback from customers, it reduces customer experience that they have with the product, then you want to be sure that you're tracking it and saying, when you made this change, this is how it impacted customer experience and customer engagement. Did it increase? Did your customer engagement increase after the product team implemented this change that you got them to implement based on your research? So you want to be able to track that. It will give you confidence when you see that, oh my gosh, you did a research, you advised the product team to change something based on that research, and customers rewarded you with better engagement. It's going to make you feel really confident. It's just going to give you everything you need to succeed in your role, because that confidence boost would be great. It will also show your product team that you are someone to be trusted. It will show your management team that they did a good job hiring you, because clearly you know what you're doing, because it's very clear, they can see everything. And of course, remember when I said ask your management teams, ask the teams you're working with what the expectation is of you, because it all fits into everything. If this is what they expected you to do, and at the end of month 3, you come back to them and say, you expected me to increase engagement. I did my research to understand why engagement reduced, or why engagement is the way it is. And after implementing this new thing, engagement has increased by 5%. That's really cool, because not only did you actually achieve something, but you achieved something that they expected you to achieve. And it will immediately make them trust you, trust your work. And more people will start including you in things. You just pretty much enjoy the rest of your time, because I've done this before, and I've done it, and I've not done this before, and I've seen the difference. So this is how I would advise you to tackle your first 90 days. Just as a disclaimer, I want to add that this process worked very well for me, because I've worked mostly in startup environments. If you work for an enterprise company or a very large company, the process might not be this smooth. On your 90th day, you might still be figuring it out, because there's just way a lot of stuff to do. The process is longer. It might not exactly be the same, but if you're in a startup, then this might work perfectly well for you. You just also need to pay attention to your environment and see what other thing you can add to your own process, because it might not just align as much as mine. There might be other conditions that might impact something you do in month 1 versus what you do in month 2. For example, if you get hired and your boss immediately says, we're in the middle of a campaign, I know you just got here, but we don't have time to onboard you, so you're going to take this task and do it immediately. Then, I mean, you can't just say, no, I'm not going to do the task, I'm going to follow my process. But what you can do here is to make sure you understand the expectation they have of you. So is the expectation that you can offer immediate support, or that you just perform a support role where you're supporting sales and you're supporting product and you're supporting marketing? Or is the expectation for you to change things up and bring new change and do something huge for them? Because it's really important to know it's not something you want to put off for any reason. So whatever the circumstance is, when you join a company, if they're in the middle of a launch and nobody gives you time to smoothly onboard, to research and learn, then just make sure that you understand the expectation, because this will help you. I promise you, you do not want to leave that step out, because if you don't understand what the expectation is, you're going to get overwhelmed, and you probably would think that you were hired to change things up and do like groundbreaking new things, and it turns out they just really wanted someone to support their team on sales enablement, or they just really wanted someone to support their team on this other thing. Then you're like doing one thing, but people expect you to do another thing. So you see that there would be friction in your entire journey. So you want to ask about that. And that's it. That's what you can do in your first 30, 60, and 90 days as a product marketer. I wish you good luck in your new role, and leave a comment for me if you have questions. I've also left like a link you can contact me through, including my LinkedIn. So you can just reach out to me and ask me questions, or leave the questions in the comments and I will check them. Thank you so much for watching so far. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more content like this on product marketing. Have a good day or good evening.